So I want to share with you guys 7 things that I have learned since going back into the job market as from a entrepreneur to a full-time employee. So guys, I have been out of the job market since I was 33 and worked for myself. And now the past 3 years, I've been working as an employee. I've been a part-time employee at a retail store, and I'm getting ready to go become a full-time employee because I gave myself a little bit raise, wanted a little bit more money and more benefits. So I want to share with you guys what I've learned in just this short time frame and how much the job market has changed from when I was working a job back in the day. Now, I'm a Gen Xer, so I've been working since I was 14 years old and been working jobs. That's all I know. And it wasn't until I was in my 30s that I decided to walk away from the job and become an entrepreneur. And the reason that I'm going back to a full-time job, guys, is because my business has really been struggling, especially with AI. So I'm going to share with you guys some of the things that I've learned, some of the things that have changed. And make sure you watch till the end, guys, because I'm going to share with you guys what I'm doing to make sure that I don't rely 100% on a job. So the first thing I realized, guys, and I got them written down on notes because I want to make sure that I stay on topic. The first one is being the hardest worker in the place does not mean anything. So as a Gen Xer, I was always taught to be a good employee, a good worker. And that's what I do, guys. I go to work. As soon as I'm on the clock, I will give it my all because that's what I've been taught. And what I've noticed is that a lot of employees, especially where I work, are lazy, meaning that as soon as they get on the clock, they do the very bare minimum. And you would think that companies would reward their hardest workers, but that's not the case. That's not what I see. I notice, at least where I work, that even if I'm the hardest worker, it does not mean anything. I don't get better raises than anybody. I don't get any bonuses because I'm a hard worker. I mean, I may get some candy every now and then because they want to give me some type of acknowledgement that I'm a good worker. But the truth is, it doesn't help the bottom line. It doesn't do anything for me. And so I understand now that being the hardest worker means nothing. Number 2 is, guys, loyalty means nothing. So back in the day, loyalty meant a lot, and loyalty meant a lot. If you watched your parents work at a job for 20, 30 years, you noticed that the company either provided some type of pension or they were able to retire comfortably and they have a good retirement because they stayed with the company for several years. Long gone are the days that we're staying with companies forever. Just because you stay with the company forever does not mean anything. As a matter of fact, you're probably hurting yourself if you're staying with the company for too long. What I mean is that I have noticed that when you stay with the company forever, there are people who have been with the company that I'm at right now for 4 or more years, and they're earning less than what the new hires are making. They're hiring people at a higher wage than people who have been there for several years. So if you're staying with the company because you feel loyal to that company, you're probably doing more harm to yourself than you are if you're going out and looking for another job. Now, I know a lot of people say, well, job hopping looks bad on your resume. But the truth is, guys, job hopping is just the norm because that's how you actually find more money, get more money, and probably get better benefits as well, too. Number 3, guys, is benefits are not everything. Now, when we're at our job, and one of the things they do is they have us fill out a form talking about how they can make the company better or how they can make the place a better place to work. And a lot of people that I know, a lot of coworkers that I work with will say that they want more money because they're not making enough money. The first thing that management always does is throw the fact that the company offers these benefits. Well, the truth is most people at my job are part-time. So therefore, we don't get the benefits that the full-time people get. And even if you are a full-time person who works for a company, the truth is the benefits are not everything. Because the truth is that your health insurance is going to be the most expensive benefit that you pay for. And most health benefits that I've seen, or most health insurances that I've seen from companies, the company offers these high deductible benefits because most people can't afford to pay for the really good benefits because then you've got a lot of money coming out of your check. Your take-home pay is deducted. You can't afford to pay your bills. And then when you have these high deductible insurance companies, you're scared to go to the doctor because they're not going to pay anything until you pay that high deductible. And it's not unusual to see these high deductible plans that require you to pay $7,000 up front, $9,000 up front before they even start paying anything. So it's not always about the benefits, guys. And sometimes employers are quick to throw that in your face that they're not willing to pay you these high wages because of the benefits. And the truth is that when I had my job back in the day, guys, the benefits were amazing. I remember when I got in a car accident back in the day and I had to use the insurance to pay for my trip to the hospital and the emergency room coverage. And to this day, I remember that if I had to pay anything, it was very, very, very little because health benefits actually were good back then. Nowadays, they're not as good as they used to be. So it's not always about the health benefits, guys. Number 4, guys, is you are replaceable. See, I used to think that at a job, if you were a good employee, that they would consider you irreplaceable. But the truth is that everybody is replaceable. It doesn't matter. If you quit that job because you're unhappy, don't think that you're hurting that company. That company will have somebody in there tomorrow taking over your spot and not even give you a second thought. So just know that. The next one is that it's just a job. I know a lot of people tie their self-confidence, their self-worth to a job. They think that that's who they are. The truth is, guys, it's just a job. It's just meant for something to help you survive so that you can pay your bills, so that you can keep the roof over your head, keep food in your refrigerator, and pay what you need to pay. That's it. It's not who you are. That's what you do. And then the next one is, guys, never put yourself in a position where you have to rely 100% on that job. Now, what I mean, guys, is I know everybody has to rely on that job in order to be able to pay their bills, pay for their lifestyle. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about whenever you get a raise, whenever you get a bonus, or anything like that, whenever you run into some extra money, make sure that you're not using that extra money that you got to increase your lifestyle. Because when you do that, you put yourself in a predicament where you have to stay with that job. Or even worse, what I did when I was working a job is whenever I get a bonus or whenever I got a raise, I would always find a way to buy more stuff. I would find a way to finance more stuff because I felt like I could afford to make that payment. Whenever I did that, guys, I put myself in a position where 40 hours wasn't enough. I then needed to work more overtime. So I would found myself picking up extra hours, working extra shifts, because I put myself in a position where whenever I got more money, I increased my lifestyle. And then the last one I want to give you guys, the last tip, is that you need to build something on the side for yourself. Long gone are the days where we rely 100% on a job. A job is just meant to help you survive. And for some of us, guys, the job that we have is a lower paying wage than other jobs. Everybody's job pays differently. And for some of us, it's harder to survive on the job that we have than others. If you have a low paying job and you're barely making ends meet and you're not doing anything other than just paying your bills and surviving, then it's time for you to start something on the side. See, unfortunately, guys, we're in a position where we can't rely just 100% on that job. That job is not going to help you get wealthy. That job is not going to help you save and catch up for retirement. And if you're watching this channel, there's a good chance that you're like me who's trying to catch up for retirement and a job is just not going to do it. So while you go to this job that you may or may not like, you have to start something on the side for yourself, because starting for something on the side for yourself is going to give you more power, more control over your own life. Because if you ever get to the point where you just get frustrated with that job and you want to find something else, you have the means to be able to walk away from that job. Because unfortunately, guys, not everybody likes their jobs, and you should never go to a job that you are miserable with. And having a side income, something on the side, will allow you and give you the courage to be able to do something different or find another job that pays better. And if you're stuck in that job and that job is the only thing that's paying you and that job is barely helping you survive and you have no side income, well, you're forced to stay with that job even if you're unhappy. So that's what I've learned. Those are the 7 things that I've learned from going back into the job market. And like I said, guys, I have learned a lot because I am a Gen Xer. I have been working from a very early age since I was 14. And going back into the job market today is totally different than going back into the job market at a younger time in my life when I was younger. And and the biggest thing that I take away is that, I think it's so important to start something on the side, especially if you're late to saving for retirement. You can't save and invest on a regular basis because, unfortunately, jobs are just not going to do it. And even if you do get a raise, guys, the cost of everything just keeps going up so much. It's eating up that extra pay that you got before you even have a chance to see it. So anyway, guys, let me know down in the comments, are you an older adult? Maybe you're a Gen Xer who's gone back into the job market, or maybe you have some tips for people who are just frustrated with what they're doing and they're relying 100% on a job. Maybe you have some tips for us. And guys, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Click on that subscribe button so that you can be notified when I put out a new video. And until next time, guys, I will talk to you later. Take care and bye.